Environmentalists, even myself, often say, get out and vote for the planet in particular. But does it work? Does our vote really matter? Let's dive into that today. Hello everybody, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all sorts of things, zero waste, focusing on free, easy, and fun ways to live low waste. And one free way that you can live low waste is to vote. But does your vote matter? In short, yes. But it's a little complicated, so let's talk about voting and what we can do after we vote to have the biggest impact. Step 1. Register to vote. Before we even talk about the importance of voting, again, spoiler alert, yes, it's important. We have to first talk about registering to vote and the complicatedness of voting depending on which state you live in. So here's how you do it. First, go to vote.org, and here you can either register to vote or check your registration. All it needs is like your name and your address, I think. And then if you're not registered to vote after checking, it will help you get registered. Now that you're registered, it really is that easy. Again, it's important to learn about how to vote depending on where you live. I have been a registered voter in 2 states, so we'll talk about Ohio first. When I turned 18, I had to physically request that registration and then request my ballot. And then every single time that I voted while I was an Ohio voter was absentee. In states like Ohio, where you have to register to vote absentee, you have to re-register every single year to vote absentee, and you also have to request every single ballot be mailed to you. They will mail it to you free of charge, but you do have to make sure that you put in that effort to request each ballot. Now I'm a registered Washington voter. When I went to the DMV to get my license, that was my registration for voting. It was that easy. They made it so easy to register. And then ever since then, I haven't had to think at all about voting. They send me every single ballot, and they also give you a prepaid envelope to send back your ballot in. So Washington makes it very easy and free of charge to vote by mail for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're registered absentee or not. And states like Ohio make it a little bit more complicated, especially if you vote absentee. And this is just 2 states. There are 48 more options out there, so check your state's rules, but especially if you're an absentee voter. Something else important to do once you are registered is to research information on the candidates as well as figure out when your elections are. Every state is different except for the presidential election. Your primaries will be on different days. You might have local votes, so always check when your local votes are and make sure you get out and vote. Voting this, voting that, does it actually matter? In short, yes, but here's the long answer because it's a little complicated. According to the League of Women Voters, when you cast your vote for President of the United States, you are not voting directly for a candidate. Instead, your vote, and the votes of everyone else in your state, directs the votes of the people who actually vote directly for president, the presidential electors, otherwise known as the Electoral College. The Electoral College are our 538 representatives in Congress and the Senate. The president must win 270 or more electoral votes to win the presidency. So that's how we get the popular vote and the electoral vote. The popular vote is what we actually write on our ballots. The electoral vote is what our elected officials, the Electoral College, who they pick for president. The most recent was in 2016 when Donald Trump lost the popular vote but won the Electoral College. Now this might make you think that your vote doesn't matter, because if it were truly up to the people, Hillary Clinton would have won. This is where it gets a little tricky. Your vote does matter, but it matters the least for the presidential election. Your vote matters significantly more in other elections. Again, bringing it back to the Electoral College. We pick them to be in office. So this is why it's really important to vote for your congressmen and senators, because they will be the voice for you in presidential elections, when writing laws, and many, many more things. So since our vote matters a little bit less for the president, should we just sit it out? No. Keep exercising your right to vote and vote in all elections. And I think this is really why people get that idea that their vote doesn't matter. They only vote once per every 4 years. And then when they do, their vote doesn't really matter because of the Electoral College. It can be really discouraging. If I had $1 for every time I said it, I would be loaded. But vote in all elections. All elections, every single year and all year long. Voting for your mayor matters. Voting for your school board, your sheriff, your congressmen, your senators. It all matters because they actually have more influence over you, as we see with the Electoral College, than the president does. But of course, voting for the president matters too. Vote in your primary elections. Voting in the primary is so important, but basically a primary election is choosing your presidential candidate. Your primary you will pick from like 2, 3, 4, 5 different Democrats or Republicans, whichever party you're registered in, and then that will determine who's on the ballot in November. That's voting, but what do we do after we vote? Do we just sit around and complain? We can, and I do, but we should also take some action steps too. We elected our leaders to serve us and their community/country. So let's tell them what we want them to achieve. Once your representatives are in office, write to them, email them, call them, and attend town halls, attend press conferences, and more. Learn about what they're doing for you and your neighbors and tell them what you want done. If you want them to act on climate policy, tell them. If you want them to demand a ceasefire in Gaza, tell them. Sure, they can and they will act on their own, but they should act according to their constituents. They are public servants of their district, and they don't know what you want unless you tell them. If you have never contacted your local representatives before, or maybe you don't even know who they are, I have some resources for you that will all be linked above and below. First step is to find out who your congressmen and your senators are in that video, and then after that you can check out another video, it will be tagged down below, on how to write effective letters to your leaders. If you want me to make one about calling your elected officials, let me know. I'm much more of an emailer myself, but if you want to know how to effectively call your elected officials, I will definitely make that video for you. Some other ways that you can get involved that are much easier than, manually finding your congressman, manually typing out an email, etc., etc. The first one being the Chilli app, Chilli. This app is free, and I discovered it on Instagram. I saw one of my friends share something to their story about stopping Line 5, a pipeline going through the Great Lakes, and this post was by this climate app, and I'm like, say less, instantly downloaded it, and instantly started to take action. This app makes it so easy to filter for what you're passionate about. So for example, I typed in Line 5, I wrote to my elected officials, I signed some petitions, I left some comments on some public forums. And the best part is again, Chilli makes it free. They tell you who your senators are, who your congressmen are. They load it automatically into your email app, and the email's already written. You literally just have to hit send. Or if you're signing a petition, you just have to hit sign. They make it so easy to take action. Another one that I really, really love is Jessica Craven. She sends out a daily email with action items from all sorts of things, focusing on climate change, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, veterans' rights, and so many more things. Again, her email is full of very easy action items, like click here to send an email and it will. There's so many more activists doing stuff like that online, so go give them a follow, go take advantage of their free resources, and get involved. And it is so amazing if you do all these action items, but what if we take it a step further and encourage other people in our lives to do these things as well? Encourage your friends, family, coworkers to download the Chilli app and start writing to their representatives every single day. Help your friends register to vote and tell them when the elections are to go vote in. Will our politicians listen if I'm the only one, demanding action for my congressman? Maybe, but probably not. But if tens or hundreds or thousands of their constituents start to write to them about the same issue, they are much more willing to act on it. At least I would hope so. So inspire others, show them how easy it is to register to vote and to contact your reps. Let's take our small actions and multiply them. I say it all the time, our small actions truly do matter, but our small actions matter even more when they are collective. We have the power to make the world a better place, both by voting and demanding action and writing and calling our representatives. And also taking action in our community and building our local communities. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it leaves you inspired and more willing to vote this November. I know many, many people this entire year have been so discouraged about voting. Me too. Like early this summer, I was like, I really don't think I'm gonna vote. But it's my right. I can't control what happens in the very end, but I can do my little part. And I hope that you do your part as well. Once again, you can check out all my resources down below on how to contact your elected officials. If you have any more questions about voting, writing, emailing, calling, let me know and I can make a follow-up video, or I can answer them down below. I will see you in the next video, but until then, remember that your small actions make a big difference in the long run. Bye guys. When I turned 16, 18 is the age. Again, you can check out all of my resources down below on how to write your local effectives. What did I just say? How to contact your local elected officials. We'll say elected officials.